In the interest of full disclosure, the past few weeks I've really had trouble being able to get myself to sit down for 3 hours, watch Raw, and enjoy Raw. Maybe it's because with the NFL's preseason underway, I'm starting to think about football. Maybe it's because I don't like certain things about the product. Maybe it's just one of these peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows type of periods where I'm more in the valley in terms of my interest in the product. But man, the past couple of weeks watching Raw, it's felt like a real chore. And it's kind of sad because there were things on this show this week that I really, really liked. But as I sit back and I think about the show, it still leaves me with kind of a sour taste in my mouth. And I really can't explain why it is. I'll try my best not to be too cynical and too jaded and too negative. I know, imagine that. Well, good luck with that, Schlag Daddy. In this week's review, because, like I said, there were some things that I really liked about the show. One of the things that I did not like about this show was right away the opening segment. Maybe part of the reason I never really got all that engaged or interested in Stephanie versus Brie was because I thought it was going to head down a certain path, a certain road, if you will, and lead to a Bella versus Bella feud. And it was something I felt that I most certainly didn't want to see, and ultimately a lot of you weren't going to want to see. And the WWE did nothing to ease those fears or concerns with this opening segment. The WWE, I think, really overthought this, and they really tried to outflank themselves, outthink themselves, and sometimes KISS, keep it simple, stupid, is the best way to go. Why did Nikki turn on Brie Bella? The WWE goes in this direction of because of this, and Brie is this, and this is a history, this is a trend. All they need to have Nikki say was, you picked up your ball and went home. You quit. And the authority took out their frustration at you on me. And that pissed me off. And you're not apologetic for it. You don't seem to feel bad about it. So, fuck you. Very simple. And off you go. Some sibling rivalry shit. Instead, we got some convoluted BS that featured some very bad yet typical Bella acting and did nothing again to ease my concerns. In fact, only reinforced why I wasn't into Stephanie versus Brie, because now it has led to what I'm sure is going to suck, a feud between the Bella sluts. Natalya beat Paige in a Divas match by hitting a roll-up on her after AJ Lee came out. Her music hits. She starts skipping around. Hey, you know what? Sometimes, again, keep it simple, stupid is the way to go. At least there was a distraction. At least there was something that caused Paige to lose. There's a reason, again, for these two to continue to battle. Okay, fine. Hopefully, if they have their match again at Night of Champions, they get more time and they get a better opportunity to showcase what I think these two ladies can do in the ring together. Now, let me start off by saying the new WWE logo, I really don't have an opinion on one way or another. It doesn't seem that much different to me compared to the old one. In terms of the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt, again, to me, looks very much like the old WWE Championship. I will at least say that I'm glad that they got away from the two belts. They needed to go to just one belt. It's stupid to be carrying multiple belts, in my opinion anyway, so I'm glad they went to one. In terms of this ceremony where they present Brock Lesnar with this new WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt for a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, I really don't have any complaints about the segment. I thought it was well placed in the show, and I thought it was relatively well executed, as I opined on Twitter. For the benefit of those with flash photography, your new top babyface WWE World Heavyweight Champion is Brock Lesnar. As I did talk about before in the SummerSlam review, having Brock Lesnar win in the way that he did could potentially have some unintended consequences for all parties involved. And ultimately, this is what it seems like most of you wanted and most of the people in WWE wanted. Well, you got what you wanted, and ultimately, we'll see if long-term that was really what you wanted all along. The segment here, though, like I said, was really good. Heyman had a promo again, but it wasn't too incredibly long, and it got the point across. And frankly, I thought he did a better job of putting over John Cena in a lot of ways than the WWE has over the past 9 or 10 years. So now we've got a new WWE World Heavyweight Championship title for the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and I guess we'll see him back in the ring next month right before Night of Champions. Whoopee. Now, many of you obviously are incredibly excited that Dolph Ziggler is the Intercontinental Champion, and of course, you would say that I don't consider myself a part of that clique or that crew, and I don't. And I look at the IC title match between Miz and Ziggler on Raw as a perfect example of that. Now Ziggler's got the freaking title. Don't even remember him getting an entrance. Didn't they cut off his entrance and have it during the commercial, and the Miz got the freaking entrance? So the IC champion doesn't even get the full entrance on Raw the night after he wins the mid-card title, the IC title, at your biggest show of the summer. This is part of what I talked about why Dolph Ziggler makes a boo-boo doo-doo ass mid-card champion for the WWE. Because he's going to fall into the same patterns of a lot of these other guys. I mean, for Christ's sakes, if the guy can't even get his own fucking entrance, let alone real storylines or real mic time or be featured like a star, then why the hell put the strap on him? And look at how he was booked in this match. There he is. He's fucking hurt. He loses via countout. I will say this again. Miz Ziggler, really good in-ring chemistry. Can have some really good matches over that title. And I'm assuming they're going to have another one at Night of Champions that hopefully will be even better than what they gave us at SummerSlam. Hopefully they'll get a little more time and they'll really knock it out of the park. But I'm still not down with Ziggler being the IC champion. And you saw some of the reasons why based off of the way he was featured and the way he was booked on this week's show. I really like how the WWE utilized Jack Swagger on this show following up on what happened at SummerSlam. I thought they did a really good job here, frankly. I mean, here's what you get. Earlier in the night, Swagger's doing an interview, and he's talking about how disappointed he is in himself, how much he let himself down, he let Zeb down, and most importantly of all, he let America down. It was really good, some heavy-hitting stuff, the type of promo, the type of interview that really establishes a guy as somebody to like, somebody as a babyface, making him look kind of vulnerable. Then he wrestles Cesaro. He loses to his old tag team partner. I liked it even more if they were actually doing something with freaking Cesaro, but God forbid that would be too much to ask. And then afterwards, after Swagger loses, out comes Bo Dallas. And even though the WWE, for some dumb dick reason, decided to end his streak for no damn reason, and of course there's absolutely no follow-up to it, because I don't even know if we've seen R-Truth since, at least I will say this. This is a perfect opportunity to do something with Bo Dallas, a perfect opportunity to do something with Jack Swagger. Now Bo Dallas is talking about how he let the people down, and just kind of being that get under your skin, pain in the ass, annoying parody heel. The dynamics here of Bo Dallas and Jack Swagger, especially the way it was presented here on Raw, could be really damn good. So I really, really like this. I thought this was very effective and a bit of a surprise to me, and a good one at that. So here's what I don't get. RVD's about ready to go off on another little pot-lace sabbatical for whatever extended period of time. So instead of having him put people over on the way out where he won't be around for a few months potentially, you sit there and you have him beat Cesaro on the pre-show at SummerSlam, right? And then you come back here, you have this six-man tag where you've got Reigns and Orton involved, and instead of maybe, I don't know, having Orton actually pin Reigns here and beat Reigns here and actually having a reason for that feud to continue or do something different there, you of course have the babyface team win. You didn't even have Sheamus win though. Here's RVD fucking getting the pinfall, and of course he's not hooking the goddamn leg. The Usos and the Dust Twins, as you might call them, are a perfect example of just because you have tag teams doesn't mean you have a tag team division. Look, we probably knew all along that big thing that the Dust Twins were going after, what do you call it, the brass ring or the gold star, whatever the fuck it was, it's hard for me to understand, was probably going to be the tag titles. And, you know, I'm down for a feud between the Usos and Goldust and Stardust. And, you know, the match that they had on Raw here was a little bit of a sign of what they could potentially do in a feud. But I have absolutely no interest in the WWE doing what I think they're just going to do, which is just going to be then next week one Uso faces one of the Dust Twins, then maybe the other Uso faces the other Dust Twin, and all they're going to do is use kind of random matches to advance a feud here, and that's ridiculous. So earlier on in the show, they had Rowan and Harper take on Big Show and Mark Henry, and I'm like, well, this is kind of out of nowhere, and the way they presented it earlier on, when this match happened was that it seemed like they were presenting Big Show and Mark Henry as a together unit, as a tag team, and as a team that potentially might be next in line for a tag title shot, especially since they went through Rowan and Harper like they did. It was a good match, actually. I was just wondering why they felt the need to job out Rowan and Harper here to Big Show and Mark Henry. Do you really need to reestablish Big Show and Mark Henry when you bring them on television? I don't know if you necessarily need to do that. But I did opine on Twitter as this match was going on. I'm like, oh, look. I said something to the effect of, oh, the next two guys that Rusev should feud with. And you look at it, you see Mark Henry, you see Big Show, and I see two guys that could buy time and work with Rusev until you find that WrestleMania program for Rusev. And that WrestleMania program for Rusev could be somebody like a John Cena. It could be somebody, another big name, but somebody else that's not John Cena, perhaps. There's a lot of different options and possibilities of what they could potentially do with Rusev, but they need to fill time and keep going with this. Well, Mark Henry and Big Show to me serve as two perfect kind of place fillers for the time being. So, of course, as you might expect, I marked the fuck out when Lana and Rusev are in the ring, and out comes Mark Henry. Mark Henry was a little deliberate and a little off pace in terms of what he was saying, but he got the point across. And the people got behind Mark Henry and the point he was getting across. And as good as some of the dynamics of Swagger and Rusev were, now here's Mark Henry, a legit dude, a former United States Olympian, somebody that understands what it means, so to speak, to represent his country. Patriotic, red, white, and blue, and all that other bullshit. The dynamics of this between Mark Henry and Rusev, to me, can work even more, especially because you're talking about Mark Henry. You're not talking about some stupid Jack Swagger. You're talking about Mark motherfucking Henry, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Now you've really got that big type of physical brawl feud between Mark Henry and Rusev. And I like how they had Mark Henry get some shine here. This was really good. I can't wait to see what they do with this feud. Am I interested in it? You damn right. It's kind of interesting that the third hour of Raw was, again, the lowest rated hour of Raw because, in my opinion, it might have been the best hour of Raw. You had Henry and Rusev and their whole square off, and then you had the main event. I love the fact that the WWE gave you three options to choose from between Ambrose and Rollins, and they pretty much were all the same thing, but it ended up being Falls Count Anywhere. And I was sitting there wondering, I'm like, why are you doing this? There's got to be some type of squirrely thing. They're not going to sit there and kibosh this feud right now, are they? Aren't they going to give us another match? Well, it looks like this will be the end of it, at least for the time being. Maybe it is because Ambrose is getting ready to go off and film a movie. And sometimes, again, I wonder what the priority is for the WWE. Do you want to make money with your wrestling product, or do you want to try and keep WWE studios afloat? Is it more important to you to put on the best show you can with Raw, SmackDown, and your pay-per-views, or is it better for you as a company, more important to you as a company, to do a bunch of straight-to-DVD movie releases? I don't get it, because I don't understand why you would want to take Dean Ambrose off of television for any point in time at this particular moment, and I don't understand why you would want to end the Ambrose-Rollins feud, at least for the time being, maybe until Ambrose came back, when you don't need to. This was something that was working for both of these guys. The match, obviously, was really damn high tempo. It really worked. To me, it was a much better match than the match we got at SummerSlam, because until stupid-ass Kane came out, it was primarily about Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And what I mean is, once Kane got involved, of course, it became about more than just Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And what I don't understand and what I don't get here is why the WWE always feels the need, with pretty much every single heel that they have, to make them a cookie-cutter chicken shit heel that needs all type of help in order to win. Look, I understand that sometimes that type of stuff works, and sometimes that stuff can get heat on guys. But sometimes if you don't need to do it, don't do it. You need different types of characters, and especially need different types of heels. And if you're trying to make Seth Rollins into this cookie-cutter chicken shit, maybe Edge, ultimate opportunist type of heel, it's not working. To me anyways. Here's an example. You've got Falls Count Anywhere. You basically, anything fucking goes. Why can't Seth Rollins put Dean Ambrose out of action without any freaking help? Why? This is not good storytelling, WWE. It really isn't. Especially because, again, it involves fucking corporate director of operations Kane. Hashtag Kane ruins everything. Hashtag Kane must go. Hashtag put on your mask, get the fuck off of television. This is just dumb. I mean, I love the finish in the sense of Seth Rollins giving Dean Ambrose the curb stop on those cement blocks. But again, why did he have to have Kane's help? Why did he need Kane's help? Why not sit there and have Seth Rollins say, no, I've got this tonight. I didn't want your help at SummerSlam. I don't need your help, and I'm going to prove it tonight. And based off of the extreme stipulations of the match, Dean Ambrose losing in that way, where he technically didn't even lose because they called off the match, so Rollins wins basically because of ref stoppage. How does that hurt Dean Ambrose? He comes back, he might be hotter than ever. And how does that hurt Seth Rollins by having him win in that way? I think if anything, it helps him and establishes him as a real deal legit heel. My other disappointment with what they did with Seth Rollins was they really didn't have any interaction between him and Brock Lesnar, especially when he's talking about the fact that he's a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Imagine if as he's being interviewed by Renee Young, all of a sudden here's Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. That would have been fucking awesome. I did like what Ambrose did earlier in the night, though, when he did that stupid ALS bucket dump and he freaking said, what? It's for charity. It was good, though. So like I said, there were some things on this show that I really, really liked, yet for some reason I can't help figuring out, or can't quite figure out, why it felt like such a chore to watch this week's show. Maybe, to be fair, it was that opening segment. Once I saw that opening segment and how bad that was and how convoluted and ridiculous the logic was exhibited by Nikki as to why she turned on Brie, maybe that just ruined the rest of the night for me. I don't really know.